but usually it's written as j and the pronunciation is y but not j. But just to make it simple, here we've written y. A sound example for y is yes, that is a palatal sound. Then we deal with velar sounds. Velar, we remember what we did about velum. Velum is the soft palate. So what is a velar sound? The active articulator is the back of the tongue and the passive articulator is the soft palate. Remember we did what a soft palate was. This sound is simple to remember because the soft palate is also known as a velum, and that is how you know with the velum you can produce a velar sound. So here is the velar sound, and the example of these sounds are k, g and ng. Ng is again a nasal sound as n, and those three are the only sounds which are velar sounds in English. The examples of velar sounds, Pranay.
Okay. Now, from now on, we'll be talking about the sounds that occur from the back of the tongue. Velar, uvular, and glottal. They all deal with the part of the tongue that is at the back. Okay. And in the velar sound, the active articulator is the back of the tongue, and the passive articulator is a soft palate that is above the hard palate. K, g, and are the velar sounds. For example, k in kite, g, and it can be anything. It can be the initial word, the beginning, or the end, but that will be like a goat. And ng, it always occurs at the end. For example, ring or sing or bang, whatever you can say. So these are the velar sounds which occur at the back of the tongue.
So now we deal with uvular sounds. What are uvular sounds? The back of the tongue and the uvula produce a uvular sounds. But there are no uvular sounds in English. So, there is not much to talk about in uvular sounds. Further, we have glottal sounds. Now, what is a glottal sound? A narrowing which causes friction between the two vocal cords. We remember we put our finger on the throat to know whether our vocal cords vibrate or not, in order to know whether the sound is a voiced sound or a voiceless sound. That is where our vocal cords is, right here. And so a glottal sound deals with the vocal cords, and it is produced through that. So a narrowing causing friction between the two vocal cords, that produces a glottal sound. H is the only sound in English which is a glottal sound. The example for H is hat. Maybe, yeah, hat is a glottal sound. The initial sound h in hat is known as a glottal sound, right?
Yeah, sure.
Now we deal with manner of articulation. This is the third part of knowing whether it is a consonant sound or not. We remember we did two things. To know whether the sound is a voiceless sound or a voiced sound, you need to focus on the vocal cords. The second thing is the place of articulation, where the sound is produced. And the last thing is the manner of articulation, how the sound is produced. For this, to know the manner of articulation, you need to go in depth to know how the sound is produced for the manner of articulation. There are 10 manners of articulation which are known as plosives, affricates, nasals, roll or trill, tap, flap, lateral, fricative, frictionless continuant, and semi-vowels. Let's just give one example. We've already talked about nasals. I just said that and are nasal sounds. The sounds produced from the nose side, those are nasal sounds. Lateral is easy to remember because l is a lateral sound. And Pranay talked about semi-vowels, which was w. And so these are the 10 manners of articulation. Pranay, can you just in brief tell me what is a plosive?
Okay, when we talk about a plosive sound, the name itself suggests what it is. It explodes. When we talk about the respiratory system, it induces a flow it induces a flow of air. Okay, and when we talk about the bilabial sounds, the active and the passive articulator, that the upper lip and the lower lip, they close. Okay, and the flow of air is obstructed behind the lips when we talk about a word like pot. Okay, so first of all, to pronounce p, you need to articulate between the lower lip and the upper lip, so it will be like, and then to release the o and t, you need to induce a flow of air, so the air is obstructed behind the lips. Okay, and then when you pronounce the o and t, that is a pot. So the flow of air, it explodes with a certain effect, and that is how you get a plosive sound. P, for example, p, b, m, No, mo is. I'm so sorry. I just
That's
talked
a
about.
nasal sound. That's
Okay,
all right.
yeah.
So the plosive sounds are p, b, t, d,
K
k,
and
g.
g.
Those are the 6 plosive sounds in English. We have affricates, which are ch and j. You have a transcription later on, but I can tell you what can ch and j be written as. Ch can be known as ch, and j will be, I think, dj. That's the transcription, which is the affricate. Now nasals are and ng. There are no sounds, roll or trill sounds in British English particularly. No tap, no flap, but lateral sounds are l. Then we have fricatives, which are f, v, th, d, s, z, sh, j, and frictionless continuant, which is only r. There's no other sound which is a frictionless continuant other than r. And the last we have a semi-vowel, which is w and y. This consists of all the 24 sounds we have, which are the consonant sounds. They are, they are classified into different manner of articulation, but to know which manner of articulation they fall in, a detailed study is necessary. But as I just gave you the sound example for falling in different categories, those are known as that particular sound. Now we deal with vowel sounds. Now what is a vowel sound? The complete opposite of a consonant sound. Again, as we have 3 ways of knowing a consonant sound, similarly we have 3 ways of knowing a vowel sound. But before that, I would like to tell you the 4 characteristics of a vowel sound, which is very important. The 4 characteristics of a vowel sound is that those sounds are always oral. They are voiced sounds, and the tip of the tongue is held low and some other part is raised, and they are produced with free flow of air. Like in consonant sounds, we saw that there is a narrowing or an obstruction in producing a consonant sound. It is not so in a vowel sound. It is with free flow of air. So the 4 characteristics are: they are oral sounds, they are voiced, they are produced with free flow of air, the tip of the tongue is held low, and some other part is raised. Now the three different ways of knowing a vowel sound are the part of the tongue raised, which means it tells us which part of the tongue is raised, the front part, the back part, or the central part, by which we will distinguish that particular vowel sound into a front vowel, back vowel, and a central vowel. Then the second thing we have is the height of the tongue raised. Pranay, can you explain the height, or read the definition, the height of the tongue?
Okay, the height of the tongue raised. This tells you that the produced vowel sound is from what position. Now we need to classify the tongue into 4 parts. That is, close when it touches the upper part, behind the upper teeth, half close, half open, or between any of these positions, like between close and half close, or between half close and half open, any positions. But we can derive the definition, the 3-term definition of a vowel, depending on which part is raised and how much it is raised.
So we dealt with the 2 parts, which talks about the part of the tongue raised, which part front, back, central, and the height of the tongue raised, which tells you if it is a closed sound, half close, half open, open, or between close and half close, between half close and half open, or between half open and open. Now the third part talks about the shape of the lips. This deals with, you just have to look at your lips. I would suggest when you are talking about vowel sounds and using them as examples, stand in front of a mirror where you can see the shape of the lips. This will tell us whether the produced sound is with rounded lips, spread lips, or neutral lips. These are the 3 ways of identifying a vowel sound, and a detailed study is again necessary to know in detail about whether that particular sound is a front sound or a central sound or a back vowel, and the height of the tongue, where in what area is that particular sound produced. And when you look in the mirror, you know whether your lips are round, spread, or neutral to know the shape of the lips. Just in brief again, 2 kinds of sounds in English: consonant sounds, vowel sounds. Consonant sounds caused with an obstruction, vowel sounds without an obstruction. 3 ways of knowing a consonant sound: using the vocal cords to know whether they are voiced or voiceless, the place of articulation, where the consonant sound is produced, and the manner of articulation, how the sound is produced. The vowel sounds, complete opposite of consonant sounds, produced with free flow of air, no obstruction or narrowing of any sort. And the 3 things, Pranay, tell me what the 3 things are.
Okay, the vowel sounds. It depends on the part of the tongue raised. the height of the tongue raised, and the shape of the lips, which you can easily identify when you stand in front of the mirror. Now there are three types of sounds when you talk about vowel sounds. When you stand in front of a mirror, you will notice three parts. It will be either rounded, it will be neutral, or it will be spread. For example, when you talk about a rounded part, you can talk about the vowel oo. When you speak oo, the shape of the lips is rounded. The spread part is when you speak e, it's spread. And you talk about the vowel a or a, the shape of the lip is neutral. So that will discuss about the shape of the lips.
Now we have also diphthongs, which indirectly fall in the category of vowels because it consists of a vowel sound. What is a diphthong? The simple definition of a diphthong is formed with only one syllable and the tongue glides from one vowel sound to the other while the production of a diphthong. Why do I say that diphthongs fall in the category of a vowel sound? Because it has a vowel sound, but it's like two sounds. If from one particular vowel sound it moves to the other, and that is why a diphthong is also known as a vowel glide. From one vowel sound to the other vowel sound is a glide without any stop in between. So it is only one syllable. What is a syllable? Let's say if I take the word bat, bat is only bat. You do not have any other syllable in it, so it is only one syllable, bat. But if I take the word, let's say computer, computer, you feel your lower jaw, it goes down 3 times. Computer. That is when you know that the word computer has 3 syllables in it. So similarly, in a diphthong, there are 2 vowel sounds, and it's not like the jaw goes down. It's just in a simple fashion, and that is why it is only one sound. But it is a vowel sound, and it is so that two vowel sounds make it a diphthong, and that is why diphthong is known as a vowel glide. Now we see the word lie. Lie has a diphthong while producing the last sound of the word. L is the lateral sound which we already studied, which is a consonant. I is a diphthong. A and y are both e. A and e are both vowel sounds, but they are not used in different syllables. They are used in the same syllable, and that is why they are known as a diphthong. So I, here, the last sound of the word lie is a diphthong. Right, Pranay?
Yes, sure.
And diphthongs are also known as vowel glides, as I already told. Now we have transcription of consonant sounds. Transcription is something which you will see in the dictionary. To know correct pronunciation, to know whether you are pronouncing the word correctly or not, you have transcription of consonant sounds, which is like this. For the sound b, here the example is given bad, but the initial sound we take b. How do you write b is the same way you write in the lower case alphabets. You write b to represent the sound b in the word bad. Then we have find, the word find, which has the first sound, the first consonantal sound, which is written in the same fashion as it is written in the lowercase alphabet f. Then you have the word how, which is her, the first initial sound her. It is written again in the same fashion as h, how you write in the lowercase alphabets. Then you have the word cat, but it is here the spelling is C-A-T, but the pronunciation is k. You don't say, if you say as an alphabet you say C, but you don't say sat, that will be S-A-T. So here you say cat and the pronunciation is k. That is why you have the symbol as K, which again you know how we use in the lowercase alphabet. That is the symbol for cat. Then you have man. The initial letter m represents the sound the nasal sound, and you write it in the same fashion as written in the word M in the lowercase alphabets. Then you have the word sing. Pranay already told that ing sounds are used only in the last half of the word, like the end part of the word, sing, bing, things like that. So here the example we have it as sing, and ung, like ing, is represented by this sound here. Then you have red, r, which is again written in the same way as you write in lowercase alphabets R. Then you have she. Here is the sound sh, which gives you the sound sh. The letters sh give you the sound sh, and this is how it is written. Then you have the word check. So we take the first sound, ch, ch, and that is how this is written in the transcription. Then we have this, th, and you see the transcription just on the left, how it is written, and then we have the word wet, w, which is pronounced using the two lips. So it is w, different from v, and so it's written in the same way as we write the lowercase alphabets w. Then we have pleasure, j, you see sur, the word pleasure has the letters sur, which give the sound j, and this is how j is written. It's more or like the same way the way in which we write in cursive. The lowercase in cursive handwriting, it gives you the sound j. Now we have more words on our right, which Pranay will explain. Pranay, here it is.
Okay, now we'll talk about the word D. For example, we have the word did here, and the sound that occurs initially is the d sound. So the transcription for it is written on the left side. That's the same as the word D. Then we go to give. The first sound is g, and the transcription is the same as the word give, the G. Now we already talked about the y part, that is semi-vowel. The yes, the Y is represented not by a Y in alphabets, but it's represented by a J. Okay. Leg is the same as L. The transcription is on the left hand side. No, the N sound is represented by N, the alphabet. Pet, the sound P is represented by the word P. Sun, the sound S is represented by S itself. T, the same, the sound T is represented by the alphabet T. Now think, that is different. T and H is represented by the sign that is besides it on the left hand side. The sign.
It's like a circle and just a line in between.
Okay. And the sound, the word voice, that's different from, as Nisreen already told, the wet and voice. There's a difference between them. When you talk about W, we have a bilabial sound, that is W. And when we talk about V, that is dental.
Labiodental,
I'm so sorry. That's voice. And that is represented by the same as V in alphabets. Zoo. We talk about the word zoo. It's different from the word pleasure. Okay. The alphabet that is used for j is the uppercase, I guess.
Is the lowercase of the cursive handwriting j, where in zoo you have z, which is the capitals. How you write z in capitals, but you don't write that big, obviously. It's a small z, which represents z in zoo. And then the last one we have just, which is j here, the first letter J, which produces the sound j. It's written with like D and the letter we have in j, that makes j. So these are the 24 consonant sounds with their transcription: p, f, h, k, ng, r, sh, ch, d, v, j. And on the other side, on my right, is d, g, y, l, n, p, s, t, th, v, z, and j. Now let's have a look on vowel sounds. We have 20 vowel sounds. Consonant sounds, 24 consonant sounds is already dealt with. Now we deal with 20 vowel sounds and their transcription. How does that look as? We have the word cup. The sound, now first of all, let me tell you the difference between vowel letters and vowel sounds. A, E, I, O, U are the 6 vowel letters, but sounds are those when you have these letters the way you pronounce them. And that is why instead of 6 vowel letters, you have 20 vowel